Hello and welcome to another episode of Ken Training, where we try to give you, the YouTube audience, the training that you need to tackle projects like this one on your own. Today's project is going to be an epoxy sample piece. This is my third epoxy sample piece. I pretty much got all of my training from Countertops.com, and the products that I purchased for this sample piece that I'm going to do today was from their website. Let me show you the first two sample pieces that I did, and then we'll talk about the third sample. Okay, here are sample pieces number 1, and the one over here is sample piece number 2. So you can see that we've got a gray tone going on number 1 and a kind of a brownish tone going on number 2. I have learned some lessons from these two samples, and I'm hoping to correct those on sample piece number 3. One of the things that I did wrong on sample piece number 1 was I had the cord touch one of the sides, and that doesn't and that created a little bit of imperfection on one of the sides. Also, using the silver spray paint, it produced splotches. Let me show you that. Okay, see those speckles? That's from the silver spray paint, and maybe it looks it's you know, it gives the piece a little bit more visual interest, but I'm not sure if I'm crazy about it. So for the pour, I'm not going to use the silver. Let's see if I can show you some other, like right there's some speckling that went on. It was all from that silver spray paint. By the way, I should mention that this piece here was all spray paint. There was no dyes or powders used for this piece, sample piece number 1. Sample piece number 2 had a combination of spray paint and dye. Oh, there was one powder as well, I believe, for this one here. I think, yeah, diamond dust. Let me show you what we're going to do here in number 3. I have the piece basically with an 1.5 inches of overhang, and also it's got rounded over edges with a 1/8 inch bit on the top and the bottom to allow the epoxy to flow nicely. I have it sitting on some plastic. It's actually the same plastic that I used from sample pieces number 2's yesterday, so I'm just trying to be efficient and utilize the same workspace area. It's supported by 4 paint cans, and just sitting on a secondary top, trying to keep my work area as clean as possible. Also on the door, that this is an old door sitting on 2 sawhorses. I have some wood underneath that tarp, underneath the plastic, to try to build a dam, so all the spillovers will be contained within the project and they won't spill out onto the floor and on my shoes and all over the place. This is a kind of a messy project when you're working with this. I currently have a heater going right now, and I got the epoxy under the heater so I can get that nice and warm for the project. It's winter. I got a clock here so we can monitor the time, and I have a thermometer right here so we can see what the temperature is. The space that we're in right now is 66 degrees, and outside is 61 degrees. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a perspective. Now, for my sample piece that we're working on now, the dimensions of that are 47 inches by 23 inches. And when you take that, that equates to 1,081 square inches divided by 144. The project is 7.5 square feet. We're going to do 5 ounces per square foot for this pour. That equates to 5 times 7.5, which is 37.5 ounces. We'll round that off to 38 ounces divided by 2, so we need 19 ounces of part A and 19 ounces of part B. The way the graduated cylinder works, it probably has graduations of 20, so we'll probably do 20 ounces, 20 and 20, and then equate to 40 ounces for the pour. So that's how much material we need. So I have a level here to make sure that the piece that we're going to be doing the pour on is level both ways, this way, you know, and that way. So I had to put some popsicle sticks underneath this side here to raise it up, just to have the piece nice and level. Now, the materials that we're going to be using for this project are going to be pearl metallic, I've got silver. These are all powders. Let's see what else we got here. White metallic. This is diamond dust metallic. And copper for an accent vein. Plus I'm going to do some black spray paint for one of the accents. So I have some spray paints here. I've got some black. I can use that for an accent vein. Plus I can use this one here, which is God, I can't remember the name of it. Antique brass. Okay, so we have antique brass, and this one here is gloss black. And also I have some silver spray paint. I believe it's right over here. Yeah. So right over there I've got some silver spray paint and some white. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take that can of silver and I'm going to put it around the perimeter here. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because I want this piece to be a gray tone piece. And if you look at the other gray tone piece and you look at the edge, notice how the white really came through there. To me, that's too much white. So I want the edges to be a little bit darker. So what I'm going to do is, before I mix up any epoxy or anything, I'm going to make sure this piece is nice and dusted off, leveled. Then I'm going to spray the perimeter here with that silver spray paint that's just sitting right over there. So that way I can avoid that whiteness bleeding through when it pours over the edge, because that's a little bit too white for me. Okay, so the piece is level. It's sanded with, by the way, this piece is made out of MDF material, medium density fiberboard. 1.5 inch for the buildup on the edges, round over corners, two coats of a latex paint, sanded with 220 grit sandpaper in between, plus the final coat sanded again. So completely, the substrate is completely ready to receive the epoxy. I've just been shaking this can for 2 minutes with the silver. I'm going to go around and hit the perimeter right now so I can get the perimeter from a white to a silver, so this way I think my edge profile will look better. Okay, so I gotta let that sit for about 10 minutes to 30 minutes to be fully dry before we can move on to the next stage of our project, which is going to be taping off and so forth. So I'll probably start the project in 20 minutes to start mixing the epoxy, get the epoxy mixed up, then we can tape our edges and then actually pour our epoxy. So I'll set my stopwatch for 20 minutes. Okay, the spray paint that I did around the edges here is all dried. We're going to start mixing up our epoxy right here. Let's get to it. Okay, so I got my cup. It's marked out at 20 ounces. We're going to start off with part B. It's brand new, which is fine. Put that right under there. Let's get part B in here. Part B is thinner than part A, that's why we do part B first. Okay, that's been a total of 3 minutes. Now that our epoxy's all mixed, let me set this off to the side. Alright, what I want to do now is I want to get my tape around the perimeter of the project, so I'm going to do that right now. The taping is done around the entire project. The epoxy is all mixed up. We have it right over here. I'm going to pour it into these individual 6 cups right now and get going with this project. Alright, so I got all my cups mixed up. I've got 2 cups of silver, which is this one right here, the silver metallic. Then I have black, which I did with black spray paint. That one there you can see is pearl metallic. That one there is copper metallic. This one is a white dye. I added diamond dust in that. That was a mistake. You need to do the diamond dust separately on its own, so I don't have any more epoxy for that. What I'm going to do is I have some white spray paint here. As I pour it into my mixing bucket, I'm going to use some white spray paint intermittently to try to put some more white into this project. When I do that, I'm going to have to put on my shop vac, which is over here, and I'm going to have to wear a respirator, so I'm going to have to mute it. So here we go. We're going to do the pour right now. The bucket is poured. I got my cups turned over. I'm just going to do a flood coat and then start pouring my bucket for the first time. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off now. Well, I had high hopes for it, but it's not looking the way I want it to look. I was hoping to go with something in the silver range. This might have looked good here if I had not put this line right there. I think that destroyed this look here that would be more natural and organic. This kind of destroyed that look, and I don't think I can correct that. The white that's here is, I don't know, it looks very splotchy. It doesn't look, the piece is not turning out the way I'd like it to be. I think this piece here in the gray tone came out much better. This was just using 4 spray paints. I think this one came out more superior than the piece I'm working on now. And I think this piece over here even looks better than the piece that I'm working on now. I think the piece I'm looking on now looks like a lump of shit. Check it out. You tell me what you think. The contrast is not good. This is just too, it's too blended. The colors are just too blended that nothing really is really standing out to me. I don't see this piece going anywhere except to the trash. That's the only place I see this piece going to. Now, since I'm just sitting here playing around, I think what I'll do is I've got some copper metallic here. I think I might take that and some black spray paint, which is right there, throw it on a stick here, and just try to make some veins, because at this point in time I don't think I can do anything worse on this piece, because it just needs more help. Did you ever have such high hopes for something, and then you get into the project and it turns out to be a colossal failure? I am on the mindset that this project is one of those projects for me personally. Here is what the final outcome is of my third sample piece. And I figured that, oh, with my practice from sample piece 1 and sample piece 2, which are right here, I thought for sure sample piece 3 was going to be a slam dunk winner. No problem. It's going to look way better than these here. I am not satisfied with this at all. As a matter of fact, what I can see myself doing is letting this thing cure out, sanding it down with 220 grit sandpaper, and going over this epoxy coating with another epoxy job. What I want is I want something like this. I was hoping to go with something like this. The sample board that I'm working on is bigger than this one. This one is the size of the sample board that I'm working on now, and I actually want to make a table in this dimension, but not in this tone, in the gray tone. And that's why this was supposed to be a gray tone family. And it turned out to be more of an earthy tone, I guess, is what it ended up being. But I've already done this one, and I already know what 4 spray paints to use. I'll just mimic that and do that over again, and live with that one, because I think that is going to be the way for me to do it. Alright, so here's a close-up of the project. It's just, the colors are just not, I tried to put some black in here, and then I tried to move it around with my heat gun, and this is not attractive to me. The whole piece is not attractive to me. I'm just dissatisfied with the entire piece. I did put a little bit of copper veining in here. I thought that came out okay, and I did on the black lines when I did the veining. I thought those came out okay, but here when I took the black veining and I tried to move it around with the heat gun, this is just too splotchy. It's not nowhere near what I'm looking for. So anyways, you know, this is why I practice. Hopefully you know what, I should mention, I came up with this color scheme on my own. My recommendation is, if you're going to do a dirty pour like this, go off of an established recipe that you know of. Don't do what I did until you've got more experience under your belt. Now, obviously, don't have the experience level to try to come up with my own recipes, because this is the vanilla product that you come up with if you do that. I'm still happy with these two pieces. I think that gray piece came out nice, and I think that piece came out nice. I'm very satisfied with both of these two pieces. It's just this third one I'm just not crazy about at all. Okay, that is going to conclude this video for sample piece number 3. I'm going to just do exactly what I told you to do. Just let this thing cure out, and then I'll just plan on sample piece number 3 becoming my sample piece number 4 in the future. But I got to let this thing cure out fully in order for me to do that. And it's a little cold out here in Southern California right now in the wintertime in December. So I might have to wait a week or two in order to let it cure out 100% to get it to where I need it to be. So you know, I hope you liked the video anyways. Please click on like, show me some love, subscribe to my channel, Ken Training. I will catch you on the flip side.